So, this is going to be my third article reflection on the article entitled Making Word Problems Meaningful, and has three authors by the name of Gallagher, Ellis, and Wieland. And I personally really liked this article because it's something that I kind of really struggle with to this day, is making sense out of word problems and really knowing what the question's asking me, even in our current course of study. So, I really liked that this article gave me a new point of view of how I can help my students better understand word problems. So my first takeaway from this article is that literacy and math go hand in hand. Just as a lot of us are taking a class that says science and social studies and literacy go hand in hand, this article also allowed me to realize that math and literacy also have a really close relationship with one another. For starters, if you can't even read, how are you going to read the word problem at hand? If you can't read, you can't see what the problem's asking you, first of all. But then, to go a little bit beyond that surface level, you really have to be able to dive in deeply to the prompt or the word problem that you're given so that you can pull the details that the question's really asking you so you can really answer the question at hand. It's not enough just to be able to solve equations or, be able to do quick math off the top of your head. You really have to be able to grapple with word problems because these are problems that you're probably more likely to encounter in real life. So this really just emphasized to me that in my future classroom, I really need to find ways to show how students helpful tips on how literacy is incorporated into math, how they can look for specific vocabulary and syntax that'll show them what they need to do in the problem, or at least give them an entryway into solving into the problem. So the article actually gives 4 strategies to help students and teachers make sense of word problems, with the first one being visualizing, creating pictorial and schematic representations of what's happening in the word problem. And this one really takes me back to our first few class periods where we realized, even in elementary school, it's not enough just to draw a cute little picture of what's happening, such as the frog in the well. You really need to focus on creating diagrams and mathematical representations in order to work towards solving a problem. Because basically, if you're just drawing a cute little picture, that's basically just rewriting the problem in your own words. It's not really helping you make connections to mathematical concepts. The second one is retelling, where students can retell the context of a problem to a peer, and this really just helps them recall the relevant information in the problem. So it's kind of like when we read an article, such as this one. I pulled the relevant information from the article that stuck with me that I felt was important to know. And it's the same thing with word problems. Students are going to look at it, they'll see the numbers that are important, they'll cross out the irrelevant information thrown in there to throw them off, and that really just helps them to compress the word problem and make it a little bit more digestible in order to solve it. So the next 2 strategies are making connections and asking questions. So with making connections, this is where you're going to choose problems that are relevant to your students, that'll help them get engaged and excited about the problem. For example, a good way I could see you doing this is tying your math problems or units into the time of year. For example, Halloween or Thanksgiving, Christmas, really just getting students engaged and making it relevant to them. Or you could even do problems that relate to what students are learning in other subjects, like social studies. You could do like money and the economy. It's really just making the problems more engaging for your students and personalized. And then asking questions. This is when, students are asking questions and you're asking them guiding questions that will help them work towards solving the problem. Again, as we've looked at in other articles, you're not just going to spoon feed the students the correct answers, even if they kind of hit you with the, oh, teacher, I don't know. You're going to help guide them towards entryways into solving the problem. But as we've read about in Principles to Action, you're not giving them the answer. That's not doing them any favors. But asking questions is really valuable when working with word problems because it allows them to connect deeper with the word problems at hand and find ways to solve it when they're not explicitly mentioned in the problem. So kind of to sum up my thoughts, I just can really see all 4 of these concepts having a very valuable place in the mathematics classroom. Again, just like we've been looking at in another class with science and social studies, math also ties to literacy. Everything, if you think about it, is connecting to words and communicating with others. So all of these are extremely important, and students might find some strategies more useful than others, but it's important to incorporate all of them so that you provide flexibility for your students who might be different types of learners. Personally, I really like the retelling and visualization, but for other people, they might find more purpose in math if they're able to make a personal connection to it. It's really all about your own personal perspective and making the learning accessible to all students in the classroom. I hope you guys enjoyed this reflection, and I'll see you for my next video. Bye!